Welcome back, everyone, to Montgomery County's Engage at Home, brought to you by the county's Caregiver Support Program. We have a special guest today, Tracy. Tracy works in the department with the county that ensures that us consumers are doing the right thing and are protected. Welcome, Tracy, and would you please introduce yourself and tell us about where you work?
Sure. My name is Tracy Rezvani. I'm one of the administrators here at the Montgomery County Office of Consumer Protection. And I manage the investigators who handle all the complaints that consumers file when they need help with the merchants and the businesses.
Welcome, Tracy. It's so good to have you here. So it's those holiday seasons again, and that we're all wanting to give gifts, which means that we're going to be doing shopping. Would you mind stepping our viewers through how to do that safely?
So obviously, the safest way to shop this year is to shop locally. And why? One, as everyone has heard by now, there's some serious supply issues. And so waiting for things to get shipped into the country, shipped into the area is going to be difficult. So to the extent you can, shop locally and go to our county businesses who will, I'm sure, enjoy having your dollars. However, if you have to go online because of what you need to buy, how do you safely shop online? You have to be aware that there's a lot of scammers who are creating these pop-up websites. Websites are cheap to create, and they can put in glossy photos and they can steal photos from other places and make it look like they've got authentic Black & Decker drills or the greatest dress you've ever seen. And these websites will pop up. They'll have bizarre sounding names. Sometimes they're like gibberish, but just consonants even. And they've only been around for a few months, and they have these amazing deals. And they seemingly have great reviews, or maybe some of the bad reviews disappear when you go back to look at them. So that's a good flag, right? Why are bad reviews disappearing? So if you go to Scam Advisor, it's a pretty decent program that actually does a lot of background research on a lot of these websites. How young is it? Does it have an SSL certificate? What are the reviews? What's the chatter online about these programs and about these websites? And then, what is the safety or the security profile for this particular website? So use Scam Advisor as a nice one-stop shop. If they're not rating the website you're looking at, you should do the name of the website and scam, or the name of the website and reviews, and see what you're getting. So you want to make sure that as you're shopping online, that you're using a real company selling real products. A lot of times, if you are buying the drill, they'll send you an empty box so they can tell your credit card company, hey, I have proof that I delivered something. And so it makes it harder to dispute that way. So you want to make sure that you're taking those precautions. Now, paying for it online, credit card is king. There's a federal regulation, the Fair Credit Billing Act, that protects you if you've been a victim of a scam or a fraud. That $50 limit comes under federal law. If you're using a debit card with the Visa MasterCard logo on it, that falls under a different statute. It's the Electronic Funds Transfer Act. It's a completely different scheme, and depending on how late you notice something, you have a different threshold of liability. So you always want to use credit card when you can. You have to be incredibly careful paying using a payment app. Those the companies feel is like cash. And as you can imagine, once you shell out cash, you can't prove that was your cash to get it back, especially if you're asked to pay using friends and family or gift. That makes it almost impossible to get it back, even if you could trace it. A lot of these apps you can set up with a fake name and an email address, and that's all they need, and they can't actually find the people on the other end. So find a safe website, make sure it's got that little padlock in the URL so you know it's encrypted, and then use a credit card as the safest way. Apps are meant for face-to-face transactions, not over the internet transactions.
Great advice. And in many ways, you said a couple of things I love. Shop local. So we want to do that. and work with reputable companies. That, you know, it's always a temptation to save a few dollars, but unfortunately we want to keep our consumers safe, and that's better. So people have spent, they're bought, and they need to get the gifts out. They need to get them into people's homes or into their own homes.
Right.
What advice do you have around that?
So several. One, if you're choosing to give a gift card, first and foremost, make sure that you're not getting the gift card from one of those sort of central carousels. And if you do, make sure you can't see the numbers of the barcode underneath the packaging. You want it to be a completely closed package. What's happening a lot is folks are lifting it, getting the numbers, and waiting for someone to buy that card, put money on it, and then they're siphoning it. So you want to make sure the integrity of the gift card is completely secure before you buy it. When you are mailing gift cards or checks, don't put it in your mailbox and lift that little red flag. That red flag is basically telling what I call mail marauders, open season on the mailbox, or something of value in there. So you want to take it to the post office, you want to take it to the, like a blue mailbox, and you want to put your mail, any checks, any gift cards, put them directly into a US Postal Service mailbox. And you want to give additional time, because now it's no longer 2 to 3 day delivery, where they're talking about 10 days. So that's for gifts that you are shipping yourself. If you're expecting packages to come in, be aware that as you get closer to the holidays, with Hanukkah coming earlier this year, as well as Christmas and Kwanzaa at their normal times, you're going to end up getting emails and text messages asking you to click here to figure out where your package is, right? You're going to get these FedEx prompts, and it won't be a FedEx email address. It'll be like a .info or something, again, that's all gibberish email websites. Big red flag that this isn't really coming from FedEx or whoever. So you don't want to click on these emails, even if they look really, really legitimate. Go back to your original purchase confirmation email. That'll have the tracking number. Go directly to FedEx, go directly to UPS or to USPS, and enter the tracking information there. You might think you're getting a gift and might just click on something, but what are you clicking on is something that's going to download malware and viruses onto your computer. The other thing to be aware of is the porch pirates. These guys are common day shoplifters, but instead of like putting themselves at risk by getting caught by police or mall security, they're stealing things at your front door. So you want to be able to track your shipments coming to you, so you know when to be near your door. And if you don't think you're going to be home to be able to get it off of your front porch right away, have it delivered to the office, have it delivered somewhere where you know there's going to be somebody there that can sign for it. So you want to make sure that what you are buying, the gifts you're bringing in or the ones that you're sending out, are being protected and safe as well.
Very good advice. And I know that the major shipping companies, FedEx and UPS, you can have items directed to their pickup locations. And some of the bigger online merchants also have arrangements where you can pick up from local shops and that sort of thing.
Right, like Amazon has lockers at, you know, the mall, or Walmart has lockers right outside of their doors as well. So if, to the extent you are comfortable working with that kind of a locker or pickup system, by all means use them, absolutely.
Thank you. That's really good advice. Also, at this time of the year, we have folk who are wanting to be generous and make donations to charities. I'm sure that you've heard of scams that are happening around that.
Yes.
What can you share with us?
Sure. So first and foremost, every charity that's operating in the state of Maryland has to be registered with the Secretary of State. So the very first thing to do is to make sure that the charity that you are thinking of giving money to has that registration. Then you should research the charity itself to make sure it's actually using the money the way you want it to be used. So give.org, Charity Navigator, GuideStar. These are organizations that rate all the nonprofits in the country, and they get their tax filings and their reports to the IRS. So they have a good idea of how these charities are working. Be aware that you're going to get phone calls from folks that claim to be working for a local volunteer firefighters, for example. And so you have to ask them the questions and to be sure that they really are from the local volunteer firefighters or the police or the first responders. There's been a shift of scam charities from working in the charity sphere to registering as political action committees. And now they're shifting from being these scam PACs to being these political organizations that are only registering for an IRS tax ID. And so they make it sound like they're collecting money to support a local police, firefighters, first responders, health, healthcare workers. But really what they're doing is, in theory, they're providing money to political campaigns. And then about 98% of the money they take, they keep for themselves. And the 2% is going to a radio ad in New Mexico, for example, which isn't going to help us at all. Yeah. So be very, very careful. Get the documentation in the mail. Don't give money over the phone. A real charity will send you the pledge document so that you can review it and research it. And if you have any questions, you can always contact the Office of Consumer Protection and we can help you figure out what you're looking at.
That's really good advice. Earlier in our conversation, you talked about a website that people could go to see about scam websites.
Scam Advisor. Yeah, it's a nonprofit, Scam Advisor. It's scamadvisor.com. And so you can go in and enter in a website that you're looking to use for a retail transaction. Obviously, they're not going to be capturing every website, but if enough people have inquired, they'll start to do the research.
Excellent. So I'll put scamadvisor.com in the description where people found this video. So then, people can check that out themselves. And sure. How's the best way that people can contact your office?
Sure. Well, right now, the best way to reach us is by email, which is consumer@montgomerycountymd.gov. If you prefer to talk to us, you can contact us through MC311. They will put you in touch with us and we will then be able to call you back.
Excellent. So I will put both that email and the phone number also in the description so people have that ready to go.
Sounds good.
So we are near the end of our time together today. It's going to be a wonderful holiday period. We've had a pretty heavy last couple of years, so I know that folk with things slightly relaxing are going to enjoy getting together with family and friends and the gift giving. So final words of wisdom. What would you like our audience to?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a few truisms, right? Look before you leap. Think before you click, and if it's too good to be true, avoid it because it's probably a scam.
That's good. I really like that. That says it as it is. Well, I want to wish you and your loved ones a wonderful holiday period. And thank you. And once again, thank you for taking the time to be with us today.
Thank you for having us. We definitely like coming in and speaking with your viewers.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, this has been another episode of Engage at Home. I will include all of the contact details and referenced websites and phone numbers and email addresses in the description where you found this episode. As always, I remind everyone to stay calm.